YouTube. Kicks it here again. And boy, do I have a story to tell ya. So this story time is gonna be about me basically living in a shelter all my life. So this started off in Brooklyn. I'd say I'm around 7, 8 years old, around that fluctuation, like 7 to 10 years old. Living in Brooklyn, living in an apartment. This is when I was living in Brooklyn at the time. And my mom had an apartment, you know, and then going to school in Brooklyn. So that's going on, living in Brooklyn. And then mom's very struggling with her job, struggling to pay rent, and then the rent ends up going up. So the rent ends up going up, and now my mom can't pay it. So being that she can't pay the rent no more, we basically had to get her out of stuff and go to a shelter. So the first instance we go in the shelter, I'm lost for words. I'm young. I don't know what's going on. I'm still entering this brave new world. Just in an apartment, living comfortable, and now everything just hit rock bottom, just like that. So now I'm adjusting to live in a shelter, and boy, I tell you, shelter is horrible. We gotta come. You have to come at a certain time. They give you certain food you gotta eat. The sheets was horrible. The pillowcases was disgusting. People robbing you, stealing your stuff. Like, it's not a place for anybody. And me going through that has taught me a lot that I never, ever want to go to a shelter ever again. So that's going on. Going to the shelter, adjusting to being there at a certain time and going to school. So that's going on. Then after that happens, our dad ends up taking us in. Because at the time we had that apartment, my dad would come from Queens to Brooklyn and then doing that back and forth. I don't know what's going on with the light, but don't mind it. So he's doing that at the time, going back and forth, seeing us. Hey, sometimes we go to Queens and then we go by to Brooklyn. I mean, he goes to Queens, right? So that's going on. Boom. And then the apartment happened, and then, yeah, shelter, right? So after all that happened, a couple of weeks go by, months go by, dad ends up taking us in. So now he takes us in. We move to his place in Queens. So as we're going through that, I had to leave everything behind. And this was me from maybe kindergarten, first grade, all the way to third grade, and then I had to restart the whole year again because of me adjusting from Brooklyn to Queens. And I hated it. I hated having to leave all my friends behind, leaving Brooklyn behind because in Brooklyn, everything is way better than Queens. Everything is right there. There's so much stuff you can explore. It's cheap. You know, it's a way better environment in Brooklyn than Queens. I'll tell you that. Queens, me being a Queens boy, nah, I'm cooling off that. Now I adjusted to it, so it's my life now. So we moved to Queens, living with him for a minute. A couple years go by, adjusting and all of that. Going to my school up box up. All right, that's going on, adjusting and all that. Then my mom and my dad ends up getting in an argument about, you know how young couples argue, whatever, married couples argue. So they end up getting in an argument, and then my dad ends up telling my mom, just, you know, live here no more, just pack yourself up and leave. So we end up going back to the shelter again. Round two. And I just entered round one of being in the shelter in Brooklyn, not going back to the shelter in Queens now. It was disgusting. It was nasty. It was nasty work, so I'm going through that. Adjusting to the shelter situation again. Hated it. And then we come back to our dad's house again. Had to, apologizing and then you get a couple good terms. I'm doing that. I finally adjust one last time. And this time, I'm in the shelter. Now we're back in the actual living environment where I don't have to come home. I don't have to be there at a certain time. And then, yeah. So, I've basically been in the shelter all my life. And what would I tell you? That's not a place you want to be. Trust me. I love, I respect being in an actual stable home. Yes, the situation ended up happening the way how it happened. Now I'm not in a stable home no more, but for the time being, I was blessed. And I say I did take it for granted for a little bit, but I was just being a kid. I was just getting comfortable, just being a kid, just growing up. Did things I wanted to, proud of, but here I am. So third grade goes around, doing that in Queens, graduating, fifth grade, and going to middle school now. Middle school now, at a whole different school, it gets worse because now I'm still in the special ed classes because of my anger issues now. That's why I got to tell you. So basically, it was times I was blacking out. Like I hated this new environment. So I was blacking out. I'm always getting into my little moments. Things ain't going my way, and I just end up. I was going into like closets and corners. I was a weird kid. I'm cute stack. So that's going on. Right, they put me in a special ed class with another teacher just so I would calm down. Guidance counselors, speech therapy, all that, just to make sure I'm okay. So that's going on from third grade to fifth grade. Sixth grade comes around until new school, same thing. Special ed class because they still want to make sure I'm good. So listen to that. Now homework now. So by me going to an after school because they don't want my mom and my dad was always working. So obviously nobody's gonna be able to stay home by myself because my brother's also in school. So they sent me to after school, all right, for after school homework and things like that. So I'm going to that. I'm adjusting to that environment now. And all the homework I'm getting from school, I'm going to after school and then I'm doing it. All right? But the thing about that is when I'm doing the work and I'm coming home, my dad is checking on it. Everything that they're telling me to do is wrong. The people that's telling me that's helping me do the homework, I'm doing it their way and then putting myself away. But then when my dad does it and grades it, well, not grades it, but looks over it, everything is wrong. So I'm basically going in there, doing activities, doing my work, but really wasting my time because I'm not even getting the work done the right way. They're telling me this way, I'm doing it this way, and then when I get home, it's wrong. So it's like, and mind you, he's doing that early in the morning. So I'm waking up, eating, doing all that. It's like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, doing the homework, and then having to go to school afterwards. All right? Doing that. And sometimes I'll get a fit, and then he will beat me. So it's all that stuff is going on. But at the end of the day, I was blessed to have my father in that situation to help me with all the stuff I needed help with. That's going on, right? So now I'm balancing middle school, doing that as well. And now we're moving on. So now, nah, my bad. It wasn't middle school when I was happening. That was in elementary. So I'm going to cut the rest of that out. So this was in elementary when I was going to the after school program, the gymnastics after school program. Sixth grade comes around, it was a transition. So it was that after school program, and then I went to a different after school program going into sixth grade because the school had its own after school program in middle school. So we did that, and then I came home. So I'm adjusting to that after school program as well. The work I was good in it. My math was my best subject. ELA wasn't. science, social studies. So I was getting good grades, but it was a little wishy-washy. It wasn't consistent. So with my dad's help, he got me back on track, and then I was adjusting. All right. So now getting like systems and all that, couldn't really like get any like gaming systems such as like the PS4, like the new systems, because parents didn't have the money and was in the best situation. So while everybody has a PS4, I'm sitting here playing the Xbox 360 or the PS3. And don't get me wrong, it did seem a little crazy at first, but they have some good games on there. So I'm doing that, adjusting, passing my classes and all of that. But there were times where I was getting in trouble at school, and then my parents would find out, and then they come home, and then I get my ass beat. Dad be whipping my ass, getting my stuff taken away. All hell breaks loose. So I'm adjusting to that. Every other week I'm getting in trouble, getting my butt whooped, paying the consequences, basically cooking myself up, right? So I'm adjusting to that, right? And then I get into high school now. So when I get into high school, COVID happens. We're going to sweep past COVID years. 11th grade. 11th grade, when I was filling my college classes. So I was filling my college classes. All right. Got my ass beat twice. And it was crazy. So I getting my ass beat. Having to take those college classes in the summer. Summer was good. All right. And there was many instances where I was doing things that I wasn't supposed to be doing. Getting my phone taken away, getting my ass beat. So that's going on. Happens. And then I adjust to that, get a job, SYP, making my money, but I ended up doing some stupid stuff, and then things didn't go out the way I wanted it to. And that's the situation of me bouncing from back and forth to shelter, and the adjustment from that period. So, new video dropping tomorrow. I couldn't really think about what I wanted to say. I was just saying it, so just do it out here. Here y'all go. Like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.